Baseball is hard, but it isn't looking hard for these Atlanta Braves rookies. The defending champs started the season in a bit of a slump. They weren't horrible by any measure. As of the time of this writing, they still haven't lost more than 2 consecutive games, but after May 31st loss to the mediocre Arizona Diamondbacks, the Braves, with their 23-27 record, looked anything but primed for a championship repeat. But fast forward a month and the Braves actually have the 6th best record in the major leagues. While part of this is due to a 14-game winning streak against bad teams like the Rockies, Pirates, and A's, as well as more consistent contributions from their stars like Ronald Acuna Jr. and Austin Riley, and a breakout season from Dansby Swanson, they also have 2 rookies that they can thank for their sudden turn in success. In fact, by F-WAR, they are the best rookies in the National League, and this wasn't expected. Michael Harris wasn't even expected to be in the major leagues this season, and Spencer Strider wasn't even on MLB Pipeline's top 100 coming into this season, and yet they are legit frontrunners to win the National League Rookie of the Year award. How did they get here, and will their success continue? Let's start with Michael Harris II. Harris is a local kid from Stockbridge, Georgia. Drafted in the 3rd round in the 2019 draft, most scouts viewed him as a pitcher. However, the Braves liked what they saw in him as an outfielder, and this has paid off for them in a major way. Despite playing fewer than 200 games in the minor leagues, the 21-year-old has rocketed through the minors, finding himself in AA to start the 2022 season. After hitting .305 and slugging over 500, the Braves believed in him enough to skip him over AAA entirely and come straight to the bigs, and they needed this. See, the Braves' outfield situation, especially defensively, was a mess. Ronald Acuna Jr. had only been back a month since returning from an ACL injury that saw him miss half of the 2021 season and the first month of 2022. While Acuna has generally been a decent defender, his quick return meant the Braves were going to take it easy on him. He was DHing a few times a week, and he wasn't allowed to go all out on defense when he wasn't right. Furthermore, when Acuna moved to DH, this meant that Marcell Ozuna, who might be one of the worst defensive players in the league, had to move out into the field. And to make matters worse, Travis Demeritte, who replaced Harris, had not only struggled offensively, but had been miserable in right, according to Baseball Savant's outs above average. And to top it all off, the Braves' primary center fielder was Adam Duvall. Duvall isn't a bad defensive player. He won a Gold Glove just last season, but the 33-year-old had only played a total of 31 games in center field in his career coming into the season, and it clearly affected his hitting. Calling up Harris, even if the team wasn't sure how his bat would adjust in the major leagues, allowed the Braves to move the Gold Glove Duvall to a position he was more comfortable with, and have someone who was seen as an above-average defender slide into center. But Harris hasn't been above average defensively in center. He's been one of the best in the league. Despite only playing a little over a month, Michael Harris is the 9th best defensive player in all of the major leagues. He's converted 100% of 4-star catch opportunities. These outs only had a 26 to 50% chance of being caught, and Harris hasn't missed. And while his defense has been amazing, his bat's been just as good. Through 118 plate appearances, Harris has a 139 WRC+, meaning he's 39% better than the league average hitter. He's hitting .325 and slugging .526, better than what he was hitting in AA. He contributed with the bat alone to the Braves' hot month of June. You know who else has? Spencer Strider. Spencer Strider has been with the Braves since opening day, but he didn't start starting games until May, and since then he's been incredible. You might have heard about Spencer Strider, if only because of this rocking mustache. I mean, look at this thing. But he's also been one of the most dominating pitchers in baseball, and it's thanks to one pitch. His fastball averages 98.1 miles per hour, and it's second only to Hunter Green among pitchers with at least 50 innings. And he doesn't just throw hard, he generates whiffs. Despite having a walk rate that's in the 25th percentile, his fielding independent pitching, or FIP, is actually a full run lower than his ERA. This means that up to this point, if anything, he might be unlucky. So why is his FIP so low? First off, he strikes out 36.2% of the batters he faces. This is the best rate in all of Major League Baseball. Secondly, he's keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's only allowed 3 homers all season. Put this all together and you have a dominant pitcher, even with the walks. So, is this going to last for the 2 rookies? Maybe. See, despite the early successes, there are a few flaws each player has been able to succeed around, at least so far. For Harris, it's his high BABIP, low walk rate, and relatively high strikeout rate. See, Harris is only walking 3% of the time, but he's striking out nearly a fourth of the time, and this usually doesn't work in the favor of the hitters. For Harris, up to this point it has, thanks to a BABIP in the 400s, but he's likely not going to keep this up. He's also not hitting for a ton of power. He only has 4 homers today. If Harris is able to improve his walk rate and hit for slightly more power, his defense is more than enough to keep him on pace for the Rookie of the Year award, even if he doesn't hit 300. For Strider, it's the walks and maintaining the exit velocity. Strider still hasn't been able to reel in the walks, and hitters have been hitting him relatively hard by exit velocity, even though he's only allowed 3 homers, holding hitters to a .329 slugging off his fastball. Baseball Savant actually expects it to be a much higher .455 slugging. So does this mean Strider will fall back to earth? Maybe? See, Strider up to this point has mainly been a 2-pitch pitcher, but he has had success off limited usage of his changeup. If he's able to continue continue to work on this third pitch, he might be able to further improve his fastball by making it harder to predict when it's coming. After all, he is throwing it nearly 70% of the time. While their luck might not continue at this rate, Strider and Harris have helped the Braves go from looking like championship hangovers to repeat contenders.